Solid.
All right. So we did go ahead and watch a limited series on Netflix. So brand new cherry flavor. Give us a brief synopsis. Lead character Lisa Nova comes to LA because a producer has watched and seen her crazy short horror film that is something to behold. Producer at that point, then steals film and pretty much assaults her in his home, at his home. And Lisa Nova is out for revenge. And who steps in? A shadowy, creepy figure by the name of Boro comes to help her get revenge on this producer using supernatural activities and involvement. All right, I'm gonna go last because I feel like I'm the only one that really liked this. So we'll go ahead and start with you, Jason. Then we'll go Jared, and then I'll finish.
I watched 4 episodes of this, it's definitely a slow burn. I don't think I could say that I was pretty much entertained the whole entire time, but I was captivated for the most part. But this is kind of a hard show to watch. um, the thing that made me quit the show, and it's only because I am a squeamish kind of person. Throughout this show, this young lady is throwing up kittens. She literally throws up kittens out of her mouth. Uh, she decides she doesn't want to throw up kittens anymore. So Bobo the witch is like, you don't have to throw them up anymore. We'll find another way. And she gets an orifice on her body in which the kittens come out of. And practical effects, they look astoundingly realistic. But for me, as a very squeamish person, when I can't remember the act, Roy, what's their actor's name? Roy.
Roy Hartway or something.
Yeah. He starts fingering her kitten hole, and this is literally legit a hole where kittens come out of.
Yes,
and it's
yes.
disgusting. And I'm just like, I can't continue because I am freaked out. Because this is freaking me out. I'm sorry. Up until then, and it's very intriguing. Don't get me wrong. It's very, very intriguing. There are things that are just happening, and like characters just like it's just happening. Like there are a lot of zombies around, and she's not explaining any of this shit to this girl, and she's just like accepting that this guy who is obviously a zombie is standing there helping her out. And every time she throws up a kitten, there's one of her zombie fucking helpers comes and picks it up and walks away. It's a one of the clever things about this movie is they say their influences from the jump. There's a line in the movie where the producer is talking to the Lisa Nova about her movie, and she's like, "Oh, this is a very Cronenbergian, Van Hover type of movie," and I'm like, "Oh, this is what we're in for." If you don't know about Cronenberg or Van Hover movies, especially Cronenberg movies, they are very, very graphic. Van Hover
Body
movies
horror.
are very body horror stuff.
There's a great
And
Rick
I'm
and
not
Morty.
down with I'm not down with body horror stuff at all. That's the stuff that really, really gets me. So I'm sure for all you like real, like solid, like effects fans and horror fans, you will like this show. But it is a very slow, methodically paced revenge story where a lot of stuff doesn't make sense at first. But I don't know if it makes sense at last either because I didn't watch it until the end because I was grossed out.
All right, Jaron, your thoughts on brand new cherry flavor?
All right, so I walked into this knowing literally nothing about it, didn't watch the trailer or anything, and I get a text saying I was out when somebody fingered her kitten hole. And I had to ask, is that a euphemism for something? No, there's a hole for her kittens that come out, and that's what it is. I got to episode 3. I am genuinely enjoying it so far. I got all the way through episode 3, so I basically right at the kitten hole fingering episode where I didn't have time. We were going to start the podcast. That being said, I genuinely like the main character. I think she's one of those people that can be super classically beautiful and then can also just be kind of tomboyish. And she runs the spectrums in this movie because they're making her out to be a proper artist. So she really doesn't give too much. She doesn't pay too much attention to like doing herself up, but when she has to, she always kills it, albeit a little on the, like sharp reds and black side, like the, like little goth chick kind of thing. But that being said, Producer is a pure narcissistic
Sleazeball.
psychopath. Yeah, I mean, like just a sociopath to end all sociopaths. And he's succeeding in Hollywood because that's how they reward shit out there like that. So um, uh, I love ghost stories. I'm not a big like slasher fan, and I kind of got the impression this was going to be because we're talking about Cronenberg and body horror and stuff like that. I love the idea that she essentially has made a deal with the devil to in a fit of anger. And I mean rightful
Rightfully
anger,
so.
but not necessarily. It's one of those things. She it comes with a cost, a fairly heavy cost. I don't know yet, but I have some severe suspicions that uh, those kittens that are coming out of her represent something a lot, well, like something I don't know, almost tied to her soul or some sort of like spiritual essence that her forgotten mother has given her, or something like that. Something's up. Those are worth a lot more than the chick from 40-Year-Old Virgin is telling her. And and then there's another thing too, and I really like it, and it's a morality thing. She ends up talking with a very popular, apparently up and coming movie star who is like, listen, I want to work with you just based on what I've seen. We should do that. And like, if there are very specific beats in the show where you can see she is looking at the road and there's a fork in it. She can continue on this vendetta path, or she can choose a better path. And it's happened, I think, 2 times, and both times she's made the wrong choice. So the wrong choice, she chose the path of revenge both times. And when you see that there are options for her to, like, obviously the show wouldn't be a show if she was just like, she got over it and
It's okay. I'll just do something else. It's fine.
no one else should still be a director. She would just, it wouldn't be that particular movie that's kind of her heart and soul, and whatever. But yeah, no, I genuinely, that is impressing me. I'm enjoying it. I'm not as squeamish as Jason, but I'm not overly fond of gore for gore's sake. Not a fan of the Saw movies, shit like that. So, but I do like ghosts, and I like the fact that her deal has put her. I like how she put it. She's like, it's going to change your energy. You're gonna glow a little brighter, be a little more visible to the things on the other side of the veil. And so they are going to come up and they are going to examine you, and there's going to be some uncomfortable situations, but just ignore all that. It's fine. It's fine. And I like it.
There's also an ASMR component to this. Is also why it's grossing me out, because there's a lot of like blending of frog tadpoles with blood and the boiling of guinea pigs and all that stuff is fine, but when you mix it with the sounds of her like slurping up the juice and stuff like that, all that just grosses me the fuck out. Like I'm just so like horrified by all. I'd have like, no, I'm fine. I'm just gonna go back to where I came from.
The witch gives her this witch gives her this stew in the first episode that she's got to knock out in 24 hours, and it shows like what goes into it initially, and it looks like super gross.
It's a guinea pig.
There's like guinea pig guts in it and shit like
Yeah.
that. But then after you like just seeing her walk around with that bowl of soup or stew for 2 episodes, like every time she's eating it, I'm like, I'm like, that looks
It's
good.
cold.
It looks like some like. It looks like almost like a hardcore pho. I don't know, like some.
No, but it's like it's
really,
cold
got
and
some
like she's always
mushrooms in
pulling
it.
out
It's like some
big
jalapenos.
chunks, and she's like
got corn in
it's
it.
so
I'm like,
horrifying.
yeah.
And I know it's just fucking regular food.
Yeah.
So
It just
horrifying.
it looked. It didn't look gross enough after the initial like this is what's going into it. After that, it looked like something like a Vietnamese grandma would make you, and it made me hungry. They made it look too good. They didn't leave like an eyeball in it or something.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I mean, I already
Have you
said
finished it, Jason? Have you got it right?
Yeah. I went through it. I mean, I prepared for the show, gentlemen.
I was going to do it, but I was like, I can't. I'm sorry that I have a weak constitution. That's not my fault.
Yeah, brand new cherry flavor made me want to need some brand new brown colored draws because there's a bunch of oh shit moments in this every time I kept watching it. It like one, I'm into the body horror. I'm into all horror, but like I do like body horror. I do enjoy things like The Evil Dead, The Fly, and all that. Like that's like practical effect kind of body horror kind of. Yeah, I enjoy all that shit. Like the cringy of it, it just I'm sitting there like I gotta turn away, but I can't. I gotta hang in there. But so yes, this definitely was a pulp noir horror movie. It definitely had that feel of like, hey, we're gonna set this up in Hollywood, and to your point of like zombies and stuff walking around. Hollywood's freaky, bro. These people are probably like, this is fucking Hollywood. Like, it's freaky shit. We don't know these people pretending to be zombies to go for a role, or it's just Hollywood, weird. They just let it roll with it. But I liked it because it does set up as a revenge film, and then it turns into this whole kind of like mythology that they built up in it. So it starts off like, hey, she goes to Boro tells whatever, stuff starts happening to Homeboy slowly. And then she's like, hey, well, if you want to ramp it up, do X, Y, and Z. And then she ramps it up, but then everybody around the producer becomes collateral. Yeah. Like, it becomes collateral. Like, it doesn't really affect him heavy until a couple episodes later on, and shit happens to his son, and then he starts getting, like, the effects of, like, what the whatever happened to him, and it's another nice little body horror scene where she has to pull a worm out of his eye. That is just great.
The one that he snorted with the cocaine
thing with a turkey baster in the neck.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was awesome too for the son. Yeah. So it's a lot of good stuff in there. But the thing I liked about it a lot is because it pretty much was like, hey, we're gonna make a movie with witches, zombies, revenge, ancient mythology, and cannibalism, and throw it in one movie, and then like, voila, and then make it filmed about a film so that it gives the Hollywood feel of all of it. So I thought that was a very, systematic but interesting take on it. But one of the things I liked was that how they used the short film's narrative of like how like Jane's eye or Lisa's eye had the thing that everybody wanted and they were all trying to go after, a la like her short film. So everybody wanted blah blah, and how Jane was trying to protect her eye with the knife. Lisa was trying to protect her eye with her knife in the cabin, and it was the same thing with Lisa. Lisa was trying to protect her film to be the only one that wrote on it, the only one that directed it, with everything she could fight with. And then she realized that she was helpless to fight against it. So she turned to someone else that she thought could help her fight. So as you go through the show, you start realizing that Lisa's just as bad as the producer. Like, she's used people along her way. She stepped on people and done things like that was kind of shitty to get the results that she wanted. And now you don't feel bad. You kind of almost feel bad for the producer once you see his fate come through. But then you kind of realize that, like, she's not a good human being too. He even says to her one time, is like,
he says,
do you think you're the hero of
in the second episode.
Do you think you're the hero of this story? Like,
no one can say that you're a good, that you're saying that nobody out there that's going to say she did me wrong or she
right
took advantage of me.
But it's a later scene on where, like, when he's finally got all his comeuppance and he says to her, like, do you think you're the hero of this story? Like, do you think doing all this? Because like all the people around him got affected probably just as bad, if not worse than he did. So I thought that was an interesting take. The only thing I was kind of suspect with, I didn't like the whole, and it's at a point where it's like, the mother thing is a thing that comes into play, but it's two things that I thought were interesting that you get a little bit on, but you don't get enough of. Boro goes into her backstory a little bit. So for those that don't know, spoiler alert, Boro is just an entity, an entity that jumps from body to body. Mm-hmm. So that's why you guys are like, oh, this is a witch, just makes deals. No, like, she's an entity that jumps from body to body. So she's like over 900 years old. She made a deal with a white jaguar when she was a man, slept with the jaguar, and made a deal with them. And it's like, but you got to see it. It's this whole thing. And she betrayed the jaguar, Boro did. So this jaguar in spiritual form has been trying to chase her down for forever. But the thing is that Lisa's character has some link to that jaguar versus her mother and all that. So Boro's only interested in Lisa because she wants Lisa to be her new vessel, because she's trying to kind of unite the bloodlines per se. So that's why she's so interested in it. So it actually doesn't have a finality, but the show wraps up what the theme was that Lisa does get her revenge. She gets her movie back. She signs a deal with a new producer that's like going to let her direct and do everything like that. So but the only, and I guess the second small part I had with it that I didn't care about was that there's no consequences to Lisa's bullshit. Like, it's no comeuppance for her. Like, she literally, like, almost all her, I wouldn't say almost, all of her friends die. And
Even
it's
Jason?
like, yeah. He gets
Oh,
stabbed in he gets stabbed in the eye by the chick that was the main star of her film, because Jason and Lisa were dating, and she was like, "Did she ever bring me up?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, she brought you up. Like, you know, she said you were an actress." And so the chick got jealous and stabbed Jason in the eye. To like,
he's the nicest guy
Like,
on
all of her friends die, and Lisa's just kind of like, "Yeah, I guess it sucks. I guess I'll go to Brazil now to figure out what the fuck was going on with my family now." Like, chick, everybody you knew you just killed because they all rocked with you, and now they're dead because they rocked with you. So I thought that
Gave
was
her a
kind of weird.
place
There's
to
no consequences.
stay. Gave her
Yeah,
money for a hitman.
exactly. And then another good scene in there that is cringy, but not body horror cringy. If you guys get to make it to the dinner scene with Boros, the body that she took over, the family, like Lisa, like brings the family to her.
Jennifer
And
is the
so,
body that she took over.
yeah. And they have a dinner. I don't know if you guys saw that scene, but they end up having a dinner, and that dinner is so like office cringy, where it's just like, oh, who's gonna say what? And what's gonna say, like, it's just a weird. Like, even at one point, the kids are like, "Who the fuck is this chick?" Like, pointing at Lisa, like, "Why is she here?" Like, so. But if you even just want to see one scene, watch that scene. I think it's hilariously fun. But yeah, I rocked with it, man. I thought it was dope as hell, man. And so I guess we'll jump right into our ratings. From what you saw, Jason, what would you give it?
I was enjoying it up until the kitty hole fingering scene. So I would give it a solid 4. I think for people who like this sort of thing, they're going to really love it. I think it's probably going to be one of those things that horror fans are going to talk about for years to come. But it's just a little bit too much for my constitution. Because I can't say words today.
Constitution.
Jaren, rating?
Everything I've seen so far has been good. So yeah, I mean, 3.5.
Medium rare.
Nothing jumped out and made me go, you gotta watch this. But it is competent in its storytelling, and the actors are good. I'm enjoying all their performances. But again, there's nothing that is jumped out at me that's like, dude, I'm not running down over to Alex or any of my other friends going, you gotta watch this. So
right. I'm right there with a 3.5, man. Discounted rental. This would definitely be one of those cultish type of movies that people are like, oh, you haven't seen this? You got to go watch this. It's pretty cool. But I'm like you. I mean, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I don't think I would tell anybody who likes horror, hey, you got to go watch this. If you're not into the genre, I wouldn't suggest it, because I think it's, like you said, like Jason doesn't like that. I wouldn't go to Jason and go, oh, you got to go watch brand new.
The words fingering her kitten hole and the kitten hole being an actual thing are intriguing to you, then you will enjoy this.
Absolutely. Yeah, so no, I'm right there with you guys. I enjoyed it, and if you like horror, please go ahead and check it out.